Now I have a couple things to explain that's going on in my hometown in California because things are kind of going mildly weird right now. One of those things being like we're getting a lot, and I mean a lot of rain down here. That never really happens in California. And plus, I just got off of work. I just came home right now as we speak. But just the best thing about hearing this news, like the sun came up, the birds just came in together and started singing the Star Wars theme song. Well, that didn't really happen. It's still rain and there's no birds here, but it made my day a lot better. But it is official, guys. The next title in the Skywalker saga, or in the Star Wars saga, or Star Wars Episode 8, is gonna be called Star Wars The Last Jedi. And for me personally, it's a way better title than The Forces of Destiny. Because, like, I'll tell you why people hate this title so much, is that, for one, it just felt like a dumb title that felt like it came from a really weird and obscure fan film. Like, I have nothing wrong with fan films or anything, it's just for a legitimate Star Wars film, it's just not too good. And plus, there's really nothing to dissect from that title whatsoever, because The Forces of Destiny doesn't really make any sense. Like, you can't be destined to have the Force unless you're Anakin Skywalker. And if the whole thing of Rey being like the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker, because there's a theory like that out there, it's just gonna bring some bad memories for us Star Wars fans. Like, they're gonna go back and meddle with the Star Wars prequels. And us fans, we don't want that. We just want to move along with the story, and we want to see something new. But now that we have the title being The Last Jedi, we can actually dissect on what could possibly be with the main story, mostly being with the characters of Luke Skywalker and Rey. Because it is confirmed by writer-director Rian Johnson that he wanted the legendary and the soon-to-be Jedi the center focus of what's going on with the film. And he has this to say in a recent interview, like, not too far back. Remember that Star Wars The Force Awakens cliffhanger with new heroine Rey bringing Jedi Master Luke Skywalker his old lightsaber on a remote intergalactic island? Writer-director Rian Johnson is picking up right where they left off in the beginning of the Star Wars saga's still untitled next chapter, which that's still being The Last Jedi. I don't want to skip ahead 2 years, Johnson says. I want to see the very next moment on what happens. How Rey and Luke relate to each other is the key relationship in Episode 8, and Johnson says a large part of the movie will be spent addressing why Luke's there and what he'll do next. Like Luke, Rey has been pulled into a bigger world by connecting with the Force, but part of what she's dealing with is the realization that she has this power and this gift, Johnson adds. She's taken her first step to coming to terms with this thing inside her that she never knew was there, and just starting to reveal its potential. Another cliffhanger, how General Leia might figure into the film in light of Carrie Fisher's death last month. I myself is really interested to see how they're going to handle Princess Leia's character in the Star Wars saga, because it's been recently confirmed that Disney has no plans whatsoever to recreate her character in the form of CGI. I believe that's a really well effective and appropriate way to handle this amazing woman's legacy in this awesome franchise. I'm just wondering how they're going to properly end her story. But the whole Last Jedi thing can mean so many different things contextually, and which is why I just love the title so much, because I remember back in 2014 when, holy shit, it's been that long since they announced the Force Awakens title? Shit. But anyway, like, I remember back in 2014 when the Force Awakens title was announced and all these fans were just going crazy. They're like, oh my god, the Force is awakening now? What's happened to it before? Is it like falling asleep or something? Just something stupid I just came up on the top of my head. And I feel like it's gonna be kind of the same way with The Last Jedi, because it is a simpler title than The Force Awakens, because it's straight up gonna be about Luke or Rey, or maybe it's just gonna be about Luke. And it really does harken back to like the sinister presence of the First Order, because I remember the opening crawl of The Force Awakens stating the First Order will not rest until Skywalker, the last Jedi, has been destroyed. So if you really think about it, the title has been there the whole time. So maybe The Last Jedi, meaning that it's just gonna be focused on Luke Skywalker, because if you really think about it, Rey isn't considered a Jedi yet. Just because she has the Force capability and she can use the Force and she does have a lightsaber, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's an actual Jedi. Because if you remember that one scene in The Empire Strikes Back where Luke was about to fight Vader in Cloud City, Vader says to him, "The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet." Luke could use the Force and he has a lightsaber, but that didn't mean that he was a Jedi, because of how naive and just young he was to the Force nature. And it wasn't until the Return of the Jedi, in which Luke became a full-on Jedi Knight when he defeated Darth Vader, and he became the full embodiment of what a Jedi is supposed to be, which is all around a good guy. He chose not to kill him. He saved his father instead. That's just something that a Jedi would do. He embodies everything that is supposed to be good. I don't believe Rey is going to have that just yet. Because Rey is still naive. She hasn't really fully accepted the Force or even the lightsaber in The Force Awakens, so her being a Jedi now or on the road to become one, she is going to learn that from The Last Jedi. I don't know, just something that I thought about when it comes to like a singular term, but it feels like more of plural, like Jedi like being like more Jedi, and Luke and Rey being the center focus of the film. But like, what about Kylo Ren? What about his traits in the film? What about those couple things inside him that makes him somewhat of a Jedi? And I get it, like, this dude killed his dad. That's like the ultimate evil right there. But just throughout the film in The Force Awakens, he had that conflict with the light side of the Force. What if Kylo Ren and Rey are the last Jedi? Just like how The Force Awakens refers to Rey awakening the light side of the Force and Kylo Ren awakening the dark side of the Force. And it sounds pretty dumb considering that you're just leaving Luke Skywalker out entirely, because I want to know more about his character. So come on, Disney, what do you say? Let's give Luke Skywalker some more screen time in The Last Jedi. What do you say? Obviously, it's gonna happen. Rian Johnson said so. Or let's say if like Finn was maybe involved in the whole situation. I don't really necessarily know about this situation because he's already cool to begin with. Wondering how that spine is gonna work considering how Kylo Ren chopped that up like a sirloin steak. And wouldn't it be so heartfelt if like, what if Leia was the last Jedi? Because you got to see her use the Force a little bit in The Empire Strikes Back. I don't know, if that's gonna go that route, I'm probably gonna cry. Because I just wanna try at least throw my ridiculous fanboy expectations out the window. Because look, I just want a great film set in the Star Wars universe. That's it. Because I'm pretty sure the meme right now is like, oh, episode 8 is gonna be the rehash of The Empire Strikes Back. I just hope that's not the case. It's gonna be like the most original film that we get. And it sounds sad saying this because I'm not oblivious to The Force Awakens being a rehash of the original, but it's the best damn rehash I've seen in my life. Imagine if like Boss Nass was the last Jedi, or like all the Gungans. I would love to see that personally. Alright guys, so Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. What do you guys think of the title? How do you guys interpret it? And what do you think is gonna happen in the film? Let's have that discussion down below. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that social media shit down below. Keep in contact with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, may the Force be with you.